Hey Andy, thanks for coming down again on Friday. Really braving the heat at the moment. It's pretty tough going out there, so please stay hydrated when you're out there practicing. I know you love to practice, so I hope this teaching aid really helps you. I'm pretty sure it will. The way we've got this set here right now, we discussed it needing to be a little bit flatter. So the reason for a teaching aid lesson, the reason why we're going in this direction, as we discussed in our lesson, the process we've been going through with your feels out there, trying to understand and control the ball, is something that's really important. For you to get the most out of your golf, we need you to have a good understanding of what it is that you are trying to achieve and feel what it is you're trying to achieve, because there's no point giving you information, do this, do this, do this, do this, and then you go out there and you do it perfect for the first 2 weeks, and then you lose the feel of it. Well, I want you to have an understanding of your own game and of your own swing, so when things go off, you have a good idea of how to get them back on track. So the last 3 weeks and the things we've been working on are primarily for that reason. Now, there's flaws. We've all got flaws in our own swings. So look, the process we went through the previous 3 weeks was to give you a better understanding of how you can control your ball so you can better play the game. Now, our golf swing facilitates our ability to play the game. So this lesson today, or on Friday rather, was to help you get a better technique overall so you have a better chance of playing the game well. Now, the playing board is designed for several different reasons. What we're trying to achieve with the playing board, we're trying to give you a better idea of how the start of the club should work back in your golf swing. Yet again, we want to try and have this playing board in a slightly flatter angle here. The swing, your normal swing here on the left side was before we did any work with the playing board. We can see the club shaft. We want the club shaft to work somewhere up and down between the top of your shoulders and the shaft plane line. Now, as you move back currently, the shaft of the club is working back too much underneath that shaft plane line and not enough up at the start. So we can see here when we put that playing board there, the head of the club just ever so slightly under that plane line. Now we look at what happens to the top up here, perfectly back in between it. So here's your start on your normal swing. So just by using the playing board, you've got an improvement of the head of the club is about 18 to 20 inches already better, just by changing and utilizing the swing plane board. Now, as the club gets to the top, we can see here, angle with your hands is really quite similar, but the angle in relation to where your body is different. We can see that this one on the right hand side is deeper, it's more behind you. This one here on the left hand side, it's more in front of you, and when the club starts moving down, we can see one of the reasons why for that. It's much more pushed over on the downswing. So the shaft of that club at this point, we'd really like to have that club shaft working down directly through your bicep and have the club shaft facing towards the ball. Now the angle of the shaft is actually quite good, but the height of the shaft is the issue. Now, the reason why it's too high is because the handle end of your club hasn't come enough back inside, which yet again the playing board is going to help you with, because the reason why you don't come back inside enough with the handle end is because at the start the head end's too much under, so that's this position here. So we can achieve the good position that you've achieved with the playing board, then this position here is not going to happen, and your first movement's down. Watch here on the right hand side now. When you come back down now, we can see that shaft of the club almost dissecting the middle of your bicep here. Nearly perfect. The shaft's a little bit steep in angle, but if we get that angle flatter there, it's perfect, and it's working directly down to where the ball would be. Maybe ever so slightly inside it with what I just drew. Okay, but you see the club just comes back down nicely. Okay, now yet again, this should be pretty simple. I didn't give you too much explanation of what you're going to be doing. I just got you out there and we did this. I know to start with you didn't quite see the reasons why you're working on this and the differences to start with, and sometimes I forget that what I look for and what I look at, it's what I've been training my ass off for the last 15 years to do. So this is my passion. I just see a lot of different things and understand how much of impact they can make upon what's going on. Now I'm going to pull up a different swing here. So Andy, the swing is obviously changing in the backswing, but the movement in general is going to make your motion through impact not swing as much to the left. So if you're not swinging as much to the left, that means you're going to be able to present a lot more loft to the ball, which is going to get your driver much more up in the air. It's going to stop your balls pulling to the left so much because your swing's not going to the left. One of the 5 things we had you work on was not swinging left, swinging the club more down the line. So this is automatically making that happen. So we can see from here, I've drawn a lot of lines on here. Now, I've given you some parallel target lines here. We can see the 295 sign down there in the distance. We do have a bit of movement around here, but there's at specific points I've lined this up. Now, obviously, the old takeaway is still there. This is just your 4th or 5th swing just away from the playing board by itself. So there are differences, but there's a significant difference with what's happening here. When the club swings through, without you thinking about this, straight away the club swinging much more squarely through down the line. Now I've just drawn this position here where your club hits the ground. I've drawn some target lines. One's kind of halfway between your feet and the ball, and the other one's out there with the outside of the ball there. So that's where you're finishing the way through. Now that club head is swung very, very squarely down the line. Now I've actually been generous here with this line here. This line here is actually probably closer than what I've done on this side there. You can see when the club swings through with the older method, your current method, the club swinging a long way through to the left there. And that ball went to the left, so it makes sense. If you're swinging left, the ball should probably go left. So consequently, the backswing, getting the backswing better and the energy moving in better in the backswing should improve the direction of your shots in the downswing as well. So there's a lot going to change with this movement patterns and this drill, and I'm pretty sure this swing playing board will help you a lot. Now, you asked me yesterday if you didn't need to extend that swing playing board the whole way back. Well, no, we don't want to extend it all the way back because it does have to lift up off there. So the swing playing board is really only relative to the bottom half of your swing. So that's also something we discussed in breaking your swing down into 2 parts. You've got the bottom half of your backswing, and you've got the top half of your backswing. So if we can break it down into 2 sections, it's much easier to understand, and the feelings for the bottom section and the top section are very different. The only other thing that we talked about differently was, or not differently, we talked about that could also help you was using a brick wall. If you haven't got this swing playing board to help you, you can use a brick wall, so you can get the head of the club moving much more up at the start in your hands rather than around in your hands until you get to knee height and the shaft of the club is at your right hip, and then from there the club and your arms can round around much more behind you. Basically that's what we've discussed in your lesson on Friday. Good luck with the practice, and I look forward to catching you next week, but we'll have a chat and maybe do half an hour next week working on the same things because we've done a lot in the last month. So we'll just have a chat during the week, and good luck with your practice. Thanks, Andy.